Greetings, Mech Warriors, and welcome to This Week in Comp for the week of October 7th, 2024. This week marked the first losers bracket matches and saw some teams going home. But before we take a look at that, let's take a look at some clips. All right, first up, we have the 1st French Regiment versus the Blanner Observe Battalion. This is Blob's big push here. As you can see, take a look at that mini-map. We have the Blanner Observes all the way down here in sort of this eastern position here by Theta. They've committed everyone. It looks like they really just want to take the Theta point, which is just at a sliver now, but that's not the only thing that's happening now. 1st French Regiment doesn't really have them scouted out too much. You can see, or if they do, they're not acting on it, right? You see some mechs still in the center overwatching Gamma and Epsilon. Meanwhile, Blob makes the full push here. Arzak getting caught out essentially all alone. He has a little bit of cover, couple mechs on that, but there's a bunch of mechs that are still out of the fight. And as you see, Blob just continues to roll up here. Arzak finally goes down. Dubious Squirrel goes down to a back shot. That's a tragedy in lost damage. And Blob will continue to just roll up the 1st Regiment's line over here. So get your scouting in, folks. It is super important. Spot a push like this. If the whole team is going one way, you better be prepared. Next up, we've got a delightful pick that's happening. A little bit of a spoiler. We see Call Me Gil here on the point being pushed off by Sir Epic Poner and Andalard, making a run for it. Don't mind that overlay. It is backwards. KDCM is in the red here. So Call Me Gil is going out, and we've got Stool Softener here who is under attack by Zelk, and we have even more following up behind. So Call Me Gil getting called out. Stool Softener unable to help Call Me Gil. They are both legged at this point, and we see Gil go down in the spider. Stool Softener is legged, and that is important. They are 228 is going to pull back and leave Stool Softener, who did get help. Now we are later on in the match at this point. We see Stool Softener still alive, still hanging around this point, but it is not capped all that time. Look at this. We got these beam lasers just digging into Stool Softener. Stool Softener, while drawing attention occasionally away, is essentially nullified. And here we are at the end of the match, time ticking down. Stool Softener still alive, but at this point unable to cap anything. So that leg and leave can work, especially if you move your whole team around and their weapons aren't even useful. So keep an eye on that, folks. All right, next we are sticking with KDCM and 228. We have Eats Only. Oops, there's Eats Only Heads, jumps up here with 3 mechs, a Viper, a Stone Rhino, and a Direwolf in his Viper F. This is not really the way you want to go. Now, is taking those 3 mechs guns out of it, but unable to be capitalized and does not get away with Gladisaur and the Crusader. Just going to take him down and finish that out. Nice try, Eats Only Heads. All right, next we've got Potato Carry Society versus the Sky Ranger Jaegers. Now, something I'm always telling people is, hey, don't put all your traders in one box. And here, look at that. That is basically a grid square that has the entirety of the Sky Ranger Jaegers team. And here we see why. Poor Pinky Feldman, look at this. Every angle, getting shot in the back, getting shot in the front, getting shot in the side. Potato Carry Society just took the opportunity to surround and do damage. You see how much damage they've inflicted. And here's a little push around. This is a pivotal moment, though directly stemming from that little oopsie. There goes Pinky Feldman. Finally on that, we've got another push. There goes Edward, Ash, Black Cayman almost at the same time. Gadolinium, they are just dropping like flies. It is a big turn. There goes Penzazo as well to the pressure, as well as Levitas. That is a couple seconds. Now, granted, that was done over a period of time while SRJ was just in the center there by Theta, but that much loss of armor and getting surrounded, that just led to them just sort of eating it around that corner, right? And with that, let's head on into the standings. Starting off the weekend was the 1st French Regiment versus the Blanner Observe Battalion, which saw the 3-1 favorites take a 3-0 victory. Then 9-1 favorites, the 10th Lyran Guards beat Fjord Focus, also 3-0, followed by the Potato Carry Society carrying the Sky Ranger Jaegers 3-1. And then the 228 Reapers eliminated KDCM of the long acronym 3-1 as well. I would call that last one a potential upset. However, the predictions on the MWO Comp Discord showed very close 53% to 47% in favor of 228, making this for all intents and purposes an evenly predicted match that did not end in a sweep. When all the dust is settled, the losers of this weekend are eliminated from the top 12, while the 4 winners go on for another week. So Fjord Focus, the Sky Ranger Jaegers, the First French, and the KDCM are going home, while the Revenants, the Potatoes, Blanner Observe Battalion, and Reapers go on to fight in the losers bracket round 2 next week, alongside the winners of the week before last's winners bracket matches, Mantra, Darksea Corsairs, Fjord Visigoths, and Vigilance. And now for a new segment on This Week in Comp, we're going to take a look at some statistics throughout the tournament. These stats do include the invitationals and invitational seeding rounds as well as the bracket drops, so some teams will have more data than others. So to start, I want to take a look at each team's preferred mechs and best maps. First up, let's take a look at Mantra. Mantra has played 13 drops so far, and their top 5 most popular mechs are the Viper, Executioner, Ice Ferret, Charger, and Firestarter. Interestingly enough, looking at these graphs, we see a tendency towards mediums and assault mechs. Also of note, we see that they are undefeated on both Terra Therma and Viridian Bog. To contrast, let's take a look at their opponents for this week, the Darksea Corsairs, who have only played 3 games and are undefeated. Their top 5 mechs are the Shadowcat, Flea, Jenner 2C, Longbow, and Stone Rhino. There's an interesting twist in that they have not taken a heavy mech yet this tournament. Looking at the second winners bracket match, we have Fjord Visigoths, also with 13 games played. This team seems evenly split between lights and mediums. Their favorite mechs are the Shadowcat, Osiris, Executioner, Viper, and Stone Rhino, so nothing unexpected there. And they are unbeaten on Frozen City. However, it's worth noting that they've only played 1 match on Frozen. Data suggests that they're particularly strong on Bear Claw and Viridian Bog, though. Their opponents this week are Vigilance, who are 3 for 3 so far. Their top 5 mechs they've brought in every single match they've played. Those are the Viper, Stone Rhino, Shadowcat, Executioner, and Piranha. Much like the Visigoths, we see an even split between light and medium mech usage, and of course, a heavy assault usage. Now, let's take a look at the losers bracket, starting with the Revenants, not including their time as 5J. Once again, we see a strong light and medium presence across the 3 games played, but we see those mechs almost on par with their assaults, leading me to conclude that they are Wolfpack focused. Looking at their top 5, in fact, there's only 1 assault in the list. We're looking at Javelins, Vipers, Blackjacks, there's a Stone Rhino, and Ice Ferrets. You know, if we look even 1 more place, we see the Osiris, and we have to go 1 more place to see the next assault, which is their 7th place, well, tied for 7th really across the rest, so that speaks to what it is. Looking at Potato Carry Society, who has 9 games played, we're almost evenly balanced in the weight class distribution. Their top 5 are the Shadowcat, Stone Rhino, Executioner, Osiris, and Jenner 2C, all of which we've seen before, and it looks like they are 2-0 on Bear Claw, making it their most dominant map so far. Next up, we have the Blanner Observe Battalion, who are undefeated in their 5 drops. Here we see them favoring mediums, barely heavy over lights, and assaults heavily over heavies. Their most popular mechs are the Flea, interestingly the Vulcan, and we follow that up with the typical Executioner, Shadowcat, and Stone Rhino. Their opponents, the 228 Reapers, who are 4 for 5, their only loss being on Frozen City. Their top mechs are the Stone Rhino, which has been used in all 5 of their matches, the Shadowcat, Executioner, Ice Ferret, and Osiris. Noticing a pattern, anybody? There's a bunch of statistics out there if you want to see more patterns, with a new tool that's currently being developed where these screenshots were harvested from. I think there's a lot of interesting insights that you can gain by looking at all this data. You can get a glimpse into a team's thought patterns with who prefers the wolf packs versus who prefers heavy traders, and also maybe see where their strong maps are. Hopefully these have been insightful. Let me know if there are other statistics you'd like to hear about in the future in the comments. You can also check the site out yourself via the link in the description. Next week, once there's a little more data and fewer teams to go through, we'll take a look at overall stats. As a teaser, right now, the Shadowcat is the single most used chassis by a significant amount. The nearest chassis to that is the Viper, being about 14 drops behind. And as usual, let's take a look at the prize pool. At the time of recording, the total is $35,513 US, which is only 400 more than last week. It looks like momentum is slowing down, so let's give this a little push. This week, I would like to plug the current Tournament Supporter Pack bundle for 2024. With it, not only do you get 6 mech bays, 12 sets of the current Tournament Supporter Pack cockpit items, which will tell your opponents how evenly matched you are, but you also get a Cicada, Zeus, and Atlas specially made for this tournament pack. Additionally, there's about 3,700 MC, 3.3 million C-bills, 300 GSP 90 days active premium time, as well as that delicious C-bill boost until May 1st, 2025, which at this point is 7 months of that C-bill boost. Now, let's take a look ahead at what we have coming up this week. So far, it's looking like we're going to have 2 streams. The first one being the winner's bracket, beginning Saturday, October 12th at 7 p.m. UTC, followed directly by the Fjord Visigoths versus Vigilance at 9 o'clock. Then there's probably going to be a short break, and then we'll return with the loser's bracket, starting off with the Revenants versus Potato Carry Society, directly followed by the Blanner Observe Battalion versus 228 Reavers. As a reminder, if you want to see these in your local time, please click on the tournament link in the description. There's a toggle in the upper right-hand corner that will flip between your local time and UTC, which just makes your scheduling a little bit easier. I also want to note there is a possibility that one of the matches may be rescheduled due to pilot availability. Teams are still working that out, so check the tournament in a day or two to confirm that the times are still correct, but it should still be in the same general time vicinity. Also, as a reminder, all casts are on both MWO Leagues and MWO Leagues 2, so you can get the perspectives of both casters during the drop, so be sure to have them both pulled up for the full view. And that'll do it for this week in Comp. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'm Ivor, and I hope to see you on the field.